And good evening once again. Today is September 14th, 2022. This is recording 415, entitled capital N, period, capital I, period, capital L, period. N.I.L, standing for nature, image, and likeness. N.I.L. This came by a revelation from one of my friends, and it was so profound or so moving that I contemplated what he was saying, that it meant to him. And the N in his revelation was for name. But as I contemplated it came to nature for me. And I'm not trying to steal his or take it away from him, but what it meant to me, I'm going to give to you, for I contemplated it and came up with nature, image, and likeness. N is for nature, as I said, I for image, and L for likeness. The revelation, it further stabilized my foundation of just how clearly God's government is established. If we will pay attention, that there must be a source from which all things come. If you will look at paintings, that source is the artist. You look at a manufacturer, the source is the engineering or design department. You look at culinary, it comes from the imagination of the cook. So therefore, once we look at what happens in what we call the practical world, then we look at the world before us and we realize that everything out here had to come from some source. At first, we may not know that there's only one source, but we know that the tree had to come from a source. We know the grass had to come from a source. We know the chicken and the egg had to come from a source. And then as we enter into what is called spiritual understanding, it is brought to our attention that everything seen and unseen comes from one source. Now, the revelation must come to us, and this is one thing that hit me not just maybe about 30 minutes ago. If that source is God, then we are told that God's domain, his resting place or his living place, is called heaven. So therefore, for anything to exist, seen or unseen, would have to come out of the house of God. So therefore, we must already be in heaven. Interesting, isn't it? And we must accept this world around us as heaven, expressed. Now I know immediately what that bangs up against is the revelation of John, where we've got streets of gold and we've got pearly gates and we've got all this, but the bottom line is, where the Spirit of the Lord is heaven. God never leaves his domain, so therefore, we must realize that thing that we think. Now I'm going to throw the story of is it Daniel? Daniel said, "Oh, Daniel, when you prayed, God dispatched Michael, and it's taken him 21 days to get to you, right? And he is fighting Satan and his cohorts all along the way. Now we got to address that. issue, don't we? Because if we're already in heaven, then where does the story of Daniel fit in? Well, we must understand God never leaves his domain. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. And if that be the case, God filleth all things, all space, omnipotence, omnipresence, omniscience. God fills all that space with his presence. So therefore, even if we want to say that God, whatever the concept we have of God, is in some place called heaven, we know that his substance, his presence, his omnipotence, and omniscience is also here where we are because he fills all space. That right there throws the story of Daniel to the side as God having to travel mileage or distance to get to us. So now we understand our soul is being saved by its realization of the truth being made consciously aware to us, and by our acknowledgement of this, which lets us know that God is always with us. And if God is always with us, then it is our assuredness that whatever is necessary for our experience to be supplied is also with us. So how then can we say, I don't have? How can we say, I need? How can we say, I want? And whatever separation device that we can come up with, how can we entertain those except we be what? What I mean is unaware of the availability. See? When we say I need, I want, I don't have, that means that we are unaware of the availability of all that God is with us. And that's why Paul invited us to come to the altar and be ye transformed by the renewing of our mind. And the only way we can be renewed is our soul reveal the truth to us, to our awareness. Now we're talking about nature. The things seen and unseen, all things seen and unseen, declare the unchallenged authority of God's divinity, which we refer to as all good. I'm going to repeat that. All things seen and all things unseen declare. I ain't never heard the tree say nothing. Yes, you have. I've never heard the grass. Yes, you have. The fact that they are there, they are declaring that there is an authority existing which we call all good. Let me just throw this in, that back in the day when the first Holy Scriptures were brought out, there is no mention of the word God. The Hebrews referred to it as good. Therefore, Jesus Christ was declaring himself to be the Son of good. I'm hoping that I'm stirring up something in you. The Son of good. Well, what is the Son of good? What is good? Good is that which expresses the nature that expresses all things and yet it is invisible. It is only seen as the representation of its creation or the experience of its creation, such as oxygen. Can't see it, but it's there. Gravity, you can't see it, but it's there. The trees, mankind, animals, you see them, and they're all expressing what? That they are a form or expression of good, and the one separation between man and those things is that man is the son of good. That means then that man has within him the nature of all that is good. Now we should begin to see now why prayers go unanswered. Because someone is asking for something that they already have. Well, Rev, what I'm supposed to do? Well, what do you do when you decide you're going to do something? You do it, don't you? I'm just going to throw this in. It didn't work out the way I wanted, but I'm going to throw this in. As I was doing my shopping Monday and I was walking through the store, as I walked past this one man and he was bent over his cart and he was pushing his cart and whatnot, I felt my hand reaching out to touch him on his back because I could see he was in pain, and I pulled my hand back and I went on and I regretted it. But my hand was moving toward him to tell him, I release you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, when I got home, I regretted it. Why? Because it came to me, what do you do when you decide to do something? You do it. And it hit me. I didn't do it because it may not have worked, or he may have gotten upset and asked me, what you doing? Who do you think you are? And then it hit me that when Jesus Christ decided to do something, he did it. It made people mad, and it made some people happy. But nonetheless, when he went home and could not heal because of their unbelief, he still had what? Done what he believed. So, who or what can declare itself a creator except that which speaks without words? And what just came to mind was, if you walk into my home, you will see pictures hanging on the wall that my wife has done. And every one of those pictures declares that she is the artist. For as you approach each one of them, you may wonder who did them until you get right up to it and you see D.O. You know it wasn't me. And yet now, when you come back, those pictures are declaring that it had something superior to itself that created it and placed it on the wall. So, what shall you do? What shall I do if we are to accept the fact that we are the sons of good? All things seen and unseen, they declare a glorious ability of something, a creator. Something that creates, maintains, and sustains all things without speaking. At this point, I literally want to reach out and just grab folk and just say stuff, because my motivation within is saying, what do you got to lose? If you believe that that's who you are, what do you care what that person says or thinks? And if they say, no, I don't want you to pray, then you just move on. But if they say, yeah, I'll take the prayer, and then you what? You move on. Simply, I am all things. Uh-oh. What? I am all things? Why am I all things? Because I am the visible image of that which created all things. I carry the highest intelligence as far as communicating with men and women. I know that dogs and cats and horses and I know they communicate with each other, but they don't communicate with us. And yet I know that God says, I will make you in my image and likeness, and you shall be my son. I will never deny you. I will never withhold anything from you. Now, on a party, the personality is screaming out now. But why don't I? Because I have not accepted the fact that I am the son of all good. What am I waiting on? I'm waiting on something to tell me that that's what I am. But I just told you that's who you are, which goes to show that me telling you that is not going to cause you to be that. You're going to have to go, and as I spoke this past Sunday, you're going to have to go sit on that egg until it hatches within your soul, that when your soul declares that you are the son of all good, you will speak as the son of all good. All things come from my nature, and my nature envelops and responds to my name. I do not have to declare what my name is because my nature names me. The nature of my wife names her work, names her as being the author of the work. The blade of grass names God as the creator without speaking a word. The trees, and so forth and so on. Nothing can be except it originates from me and contains all that I am. Well, how can you say that? Son, that's the son of all good, right? He's addressing the son of all good. Thou art always with me. He's telling me that if he's in heaven, I'm in heaven. Well, why don't this look like heaven? You know the reason why it doesn't look like heaven? Because you're carrying the concept of what you think heaven looks like. And that's what's throwing the wrench. That's what's throwing the clinkers. Somebody told you what heaven looked like, and because the earth is the fullness, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and he inhabits the praises. If he inhabits my praise, I have to be in heaven. Because my praises cannot, how long would it take them to go 21 days to get to God? I'm trying to show you how the gap closes of where you think you are, what you think you believe, and why you may not get what it is you think you deserve, because your concepts of what has to happen in between you praying and receiving might be 21 days. You may never get it if you don't know how to expect it. All things contain me. Why? Because God is in all things and filleth all things, and I am with Christ hid in God, right? So all things have to contain me. Now, we're not talking about ego. We're not talking about personality. That's the part that has to be cast out. That's the part that has to be thrown out. I must lose my life that I might gain it. All things contain me, and there is nothing that can exist external to me. Nothing or no thing can maintain itself, my nature is all. So therefore, I understand now that a man who does not have the Spirit of God is like a branch of a tree that is cut off, and he cannot sustain himself. And he said, well, what about Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and whatnot? Trust me, they are not sustaining themselves. They appear to be, okay? And you say, yeah, but they look like they're in good health. They look like they got a lot of money. Yeah, that's true. What about Howard Hughes? Look how he left out of here. Scared of everything. Wouldn't touch a doorknob. What about Michael Jackson? Walking around with mask on. Look at some of the people whose fears have taken them out because what? Where there is no Spirit of God recognized, there is no God. All things gain their images first invisibly in my nature. You go to do some work, don't you sit down and think about it? It's invisible, isn't it? But you see pictures in your imagination. You see how you're going to put this together. But yet it is what? It's still an invisible image. And you carrying it where? In your nature. There's a substance within your imagination that's forming all those pieces and putting them together in a schematic that when you come down and you say, well, that, depending on out here the practical, depending on how you want to, how large or how small, that's the only difference in the practical world, because you can see the door, you can see the roof, you can see the sides, you can see the siding, you can see it all. So all these things, I built a house. That's what God is saying. Who will build a house for me to dwell in? How do you build a house for God? What did the world do? They went out and started building all these monstrosities. Then they start deifying them. Then they start worshiping them. Then they start telling you what you could do and what you couldn't do in them, right? And God was saying, why do you put paneled walls in your houses and sealed while my house goes unfinished? Wait a minute, God. We just built a $14 million, a $1 billion, a $20 million structure, a $50,000, and God is saying, that's not my house. My house is my nature. When you sit down and contemplate that which I am, you are contemplating that which you are, but you are seeing that it's already built. You're not building it. It's already built. You're just contemplating what it is, because it is a structure high in the heavens that shall not be moved and cannot be attacked. Now we're starting to see the value of the conscience. For what you consciously build, it will be maintained and sustained if it's built on truth. Nature. I am the originator of all things, and they adhere to my image. I am the image of all things, though they may appear as infinite designs. Know this, I fill all things with my presence. Therefore, I am the life and image of all things. All things are first designed in me, and therefore cannot be separated from my nature. So if I walk into the nature of God, when I say walk, I mean consciously enter the nature of God, I am not going to get myself connected. I am not going to get accepted. You need to understand what I'm saying. I am not going to be pleasing. I am going to find that that's my nature. That I have been living under some other guise, thinking that I needed to get with God in some kind of way, this thing called God, that he would find me pleasing and begin to give me. And he's saying, no, come home, all things are as they were from the beginning. You can never be separated from me. Now, you can also see now how this would just set your fundamental church on its ear. It would probably stop me right here and ask me to leave the pulpit. But I am so glad that I left voluntarily, on my own of trying to go out and tell people this. Because I'm realizing I cannot be separated from that which created me. Going back to my wife, you can go scratch her name off the painting, cover it over, and it will still scream that she is the author. Even if we were to go up to other people's houses, I can recognize her work in other people's houses just at glancing at it. Why? Because I know the creative nature, the practical applications that she puts on canvas. It is by me that all things come into existence. What did I just tell you? All power and authority in heaven and earth. Right? This ought to send you some warm and fuzzies. I'm getting chills on my arms right now. All power and authority. Well, what do I have to do? Start speaking. Start speaking. But what if I don't see nothing? Keep on speaking. If you believe that the nature of God is your nature, because that's all you have to do is accept inwardly that you are the visible image of the invisible good. Okay? Because sometimes when you say I'm the visible image of the invisible God, boom, here comes a backlash because of what you think God is. So if we take the word God and sit it down and put another O in it, now it's not so hard to accept the fact that I am the visible image of all that is good. What sustains me? Good. What maintains me? Good. Somebody put on Facebook the other day, is the reason you're still living because of God? No. The reason I'm living is because of God, not still. If I can't be separated from God, how long am I going to live? Hello? See, this is how we overcome all of the things that are holding us back. And we don't realize that we have these things. We got these negative things that buck up and fight us, and we don't even know where they're coming from because they were concepts that were given us back in the day. And they slow us down because we stop and go, yeah, but how am I going to get over that? There's nothing to get over if you are the son of good, and all that good has is in you. And what do? Speak the word. What? I'm the son of good. I'm the son of good. What does good do at this point? It begins to express its goodness. You don't have to tell it how to do it. It's going to express it. Like right now, isn't it expressing you with life? Isn't it expressing digestion, circulation, intelligence? Well, it does much more than that because it is the intelligence of the universe. I am the mind that sends likeness. Let this mind be in you. So when I declare something, does it send its likeness into expression? The likeness is seen or expression of my nature imagined within. The likenesses seen are expressions of my nature image within. They come forth because I am the cause and effect of things. And a lot of times they tell us, do something and then wait for the effect. No, I am cause and effect. Why? Because when I imaged it, I saw what it was and I saw what it was going to do. So therefore, it is complete in me. They come forth because I am cause and effect. Although the likenesses appear in infinite designs, they are forever expressions of that which I am. I cannot be separated from that which I am. He or she that realizes that I am the nature, image, and likeness of that which he or she may call themselves will certainly realize that the awareness of this truth is the source by which they will bear fruit richly. In other words, simply put, as I see myself, so am I. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So I immediately begin to throw out the wants and needs, don't have, even though they're going to come. Remember, as my brother says, and the sons of God came before God, and Satan came too. There's going to always be that antagonist that comes and says, but. And we let him. But we look at him and say, one day, you're going to stop. Because I'm not going to stop doing this. Separated from this awareness, one is like a tree cut off and withering. Though externally connected to me, the fruitage of the life experience will not satisfy the soul's expectation. In other words, what does it profit a man to gain this world and lose his soul? Because the only true worth is the soul. The scriptures say the soul of God is the candle of the Lord. So these are truths. My soul is the candle of the Lord. What does the candle do? Burns and gives light. So as I contemplate this, what's going to happen? It's going to burn and give light, and my soul will be saved. The conscious experience of the inseparable connection to the nature, image, and likeness results in the knowing that we shall not be separated from our good, and that which appears as evil shall not come near our dwelling place. But it comes right up to me and it threatens. That's not your dwelling place. Got you, didn't it? But it comes up and it threatens. That's not your dwelling place. Where is your dwelling place? He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So what's your dwelling place? The secret place of the Most High. That thing is coming, and it's railing at you to open the door, open the window, but it's coming at your personality. It's not coming because your life is hid with Christ in God. So it can't get there. But I just don't know what to do. Yes, you do. When it comes to you, just go, the evil one comes, but he has nothing in me. This conscious realization reveals that we are always at one or have with us every fulfillment of life. All things are complete in him. All things are within us. The only requirement is the conscious conviction of this truth. How do I become consciously convicted of anything? I go at it until the realization comes of a conviction. That's it. So if I keep trying to convict myself that God is all good, what's going to eventually come? The conviction. God is all good. Why? Because my soul is entertaining my awareness. My soul is saying, as you think of yourself, so are you. So I am here. I am here to express to you what it is you believe. Only make sure that what you're believing is true. And where do lies come from? From the personality. Where does truth come from? Already embedded in the soul. So even if I don't have scripture, I can sit and say I am the son of all good because there is something superior to all things that created me. I am an image of that which created. You see what I'm saying? Your soul's listening. And your soul is going to give back to you the truthfulness of what you contemplate. That's the truth. I seek only one truth, the conscious realization of the presence of source. God constitutes all things. Therefore, God is the life stream of that which I call me. What did Jesus say? When you see me, you see him that sent me. I and my Father are one. Have I been so long with you that you do not recognize me? What is life eternal? That you might know him aright. That which I call God, Father, Lord, etc., is the complete flow of all that is flowing through and as all things. How hard is it for you to repeat that statement? Your soul's listening. I am no longer seeking a source. Why am I no longer seeking a source? Because I am the source. I am no longer seeking a source whereby I may receive, but I am that which I have sought. I am the kingdom. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. Seek ye first. Don't seek how to take care of your taxes. Don't seek how to take care of your house. Don't seek how to take care of your lawn, your job, your clothes, your bank account. Don't seek those first. Are you hearing me? Didn't say don't seek them, but it said seek first the kingdom. And then he says, and all those things will be added automatically. Wow. That means that whatever is necessary for me because I have found the kingdom, those things will show up in abundance. And it will show up because it is the Father's desire that I bear much fruit. Wow. I cannot be separated from that which fills all things and is complete within itself. Huh? Well, when God rested, I saw a thing on Facebook the other night, and instead of me writing to help this person, it caused me to go into contemplation. And this person was saying, what do you do when you need God to move like 911? When you have prayed, you've given yourself totally, you have honored the word of God, you have submitted yourself, you have totally given yourself over to the will of God, and he still doesn't move. What do you do? I wanted so badly to say, dude, if you've done all of that, it's impossible. It's impossible to have done those things that you're saying and God not move. And then the next thing was God does not need to move because God moved how many days? 6 days according to the scriptures, and he has not moved since, has he? Newsflash, he ain't going to move either. He set everything in place in those 6 days, and then he did what? He rested. And Hebrews chapter 4 says, blessed is the man who enters into this rest, for he loses all concern for outer things. Oh, my goodness. And instead of me writing to that person, I took that into contemplation and said, Lord, please open this clearly, more clearly, that I might understand, that I might see, that I might know that thou art omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. Because if I know that thou art, I also know that I am. It is an impossibility for my Father and me to be separated, because we are not two. We are one. I am in a relationship that is indivisible and indestructible. People a lot of times ask me, I don't know how to meditate. Have you noticed that we've been going through a meditation this whole time? You may think I'm lecturing to you, but we're meditating. I'm saying who I am, and hopefully you are saying who you are. And who's listening? The soul. And as we feel on this, yeah, the soul is taking it in. This is my only responsibility, to hold the acceptance of this revealing paramount in my conscience. What revealing? God and I cannot be separated. We are not two, but one. As Jesus said in the book of Thomas, soul within, soul without. In other words, when we begin to declare within ourselves that there is a source of life, then we also acknowledge that this source forever governs its creation, and forever maintains and sustains all that it has brought into expression. So what happens to me when I leave here? Why are you thinking about that? Because you have been given a concept that something about you ends when you leave here. You see? The little subtle things that pop up to trip you up, like a lot of times we trip when we're walking and we look down at the ground like, why you do that? I just didn't pick up my foot, right? I am that source. Didn't Jesus say that? That where I am, you may be also? Did he say that? We are joint heirs with him. We have been translated out of the kingdom of darkness and translated into the kingdom of his dear son's love. Don't the scriptures say that? We have been seated in heavenly places at the right hand of the Father. Scratch that picture. Stop seeing you sitting beside a throne. The right hand of the Father is the power of God. We've been seated on the power of God. We are always in the bosom of our Father, always one with our source, indivisible, inseparable. The finished product shall bear my nature, image, likeness, our individual consciousness. It shall bear my name. God bless.